noches, amigos. Les saluda Kelly García. Bienvenidos a la primera Feria Internacional del Libro Revive. Muy agradecida de estar nuevamente con ustedes aquí para estar juntos en una nueva entrevista, por supuesto, y con todos los eventos que tenemos preparados para ustedes. Amigos, esta feria no es solo para que conozcan acerca de los libros y de, por supuesto, a sus autores favoritos, sino que también la Feria del Libro Internacional les trae un taller y muchos talleres gratuitos para todos ustedes, por supuesto. Por ello, el día de hoy tenemos un taller muy educativo con el profesor Iglis, que lo van a ver ahorita en su pantalla. Tenemos el taller Hablar en Público para Autores. Vuelvo a recalcar, el día de hoy, 22 de febrero, a las 9 de la noche, hora New York. Recuerden que este taller es totalmente gratuito, así que se pueden conectar para que puedan aprender muchísimo. Recuerden que lo podrán visualizar a través de Editorial Revive. Y por supuesto, tenemos mucho más para ustedes. Por favor, quédense pendientes de esta entrevista para que se puedan enterar de todas las novedades que tenemos para ustedes. Amigos, el día de hoy tenemos una muy esperada entrevista con la autora Alexandra Vélez y sus coautoras del libro My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly. Amigos, esta entrevista, por supuesto, la vamos a realizar en inglés. So, let's start. As I told you today, we have this amazing interview with our author Alexandra Vélez and their co-authors of My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly. This book shares the story of 9 women that face fear, challenges, and of course, traumatic experience that affect their life forever. Yet at their darkest moment, they found unimaginable strength, achieved and freedom, inner peace, so they became leaders and inspiration to many people. So let's meet today all these beautiful women. So let's welcome to Alexandra Vélez. Alexandra, hi.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good evening. ¿Cómo están?
Hi, how do you feel today, Alexandra? Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be back. We joined you on Tuesday to talk about our first book, and this evening I know we have a couple of authors from our second book, which is in English, but also our first book, because our first book is available in English and in Spanish. And we hope that if you haven't gotten your book yet, that you go onto Amazon, get your book. And this book is definitely going to empower you, regardless if you're a female or a male. It will empower you and it will help you to take those steps so you can dream bigger.
Thank you, Alexandra. That's amazing. What do you think if we welcome to your co-authors? Let's start with Elvia Salinas. Elvia, how are you? Welcome to this interview.
Hello. Hi, ladies. How are you?
How do you feel today, Elvia?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome, Elvia. So now we're going to continue with Ana Figueroa. Hi, Ana. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
Hi. How do you feel today? Are you nervous? Are you okay?
No, I'm actually excited. It's happy to be back.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And last but not least, we have here with us Eugenia Woods. Eugenia, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Eugenia. Hello. So, friends, they are all the authors and co-authors from this amazing book, My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly. So let's talk with them to know about this book, about their chapters. But first of all, what do you think if you please introduce yourself to our audience? Let's start with Alexandra. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. My name is Alexandra Vélez. I am the president and founder of Flutterflies, an organization that has been around for we're going to be 8 years old. So it's hard to believe we're turning 8. Oh, and I have a guest in my background. excuse me, then out. He'll probably be one of our future authors. And now we have everybody in the background. Okay.
Okay.
You can't make this up. Oh my goodness. But anyway, Flutterflies has been around for almost 8 years. We're very excited. We have 2 books. One in I'm sorry. Let me just.
Okay, do not worry. So Alexandra have their little dog with us. The dog, I think it's so exciting being here and being part of this interview. But do not worry, we're going to continue with Alexandra in a few minutes. Okay, it's okay. Alexandra is back. Thank you, Alexandra.
Between a grandson and a dog, what can we do? But anyway,
Awesome.
I love it. This is reality.
Yeah.
So very excited. With Flutterflies, we're going to be turning 8 years old. We have 2 books, volume 1 and volume 2, both top sellers, bestsellers on Amazon. Very happy to have in this journey these beautiful ladies and all the other co-authors. And we have many exciting things coming now for 2024. So, stay tuned. Definitely follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And super excited once again to be here.
Thank you, Alexandra. Let's continue with Elvia. Elvia, could you please introduce yourself? Elvia, excuse me, your mic. Elvia, could you please hear us? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Continue.
Hi. I'm so sorry. I had you in mute. So I'm originally from El Salvador, and I am a mother of 3. I'm also a real estate office manager. And I like to advocate for individuals with Down syndrome and with different abilities. And I met Alexandra a few years back, and we've been, great friends, and we've embarked on amazing journeys together. And I'm so excited and so honored to be part of this group of wonderful ladies. I love each and every one of them. They're all so inspirational and full of just so much knowledge. And I'm just very, very blessed to be around this beautiful Flutterflies community.
Thank you, Elvia. That's true, right? The Flutterfly community is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go ahead with Anna.
Hello again. I'm Ana Figueroa. I am a mom, a wife. What can I say? And I'm happy. I share the same sentiment that Elvia you stated about being part of a wonderful community, such as the Flutterflies community. I met Alexandra back in 2018. So since then, once she reels you in, you're in for life. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I thank her for that because the growth is there, whether it's on a professional level, also in a personal level. You get to go on adventures. I'm going to call it Alex, and adventures, but they're good adventures. And the best part of it is that you do get to meet some wonderful, powerful ladies that do the work that we all do from the heart. It's genuine work, it's work that is meaningful, and it creates impact in the communities that we serve. So, I'm very happy to be here with you all tonight, and definitely happy to be part of the wonderful group that we call Flutterflies today.
Thank you so much. So let's continue with Eugenia. Eugenia, go ahead, please.
Hello, hey, I'm Eugenia Woods, and I believe I met Alexandra in 2018 as well. I'm thinking we met because I reached out to her to ask if she needed any entertainment for her Flutterflies event, and since then it's just been the greatest collaboration and connection. It's awesome that she encourages all your gifts, even outside of the authorship with the book. I'm so sorry. I'm in my car. As a mom and grandma, we all know I was on grandma duty. So, and I just adore all the women here as well. They're all great inspirations. We love to encourage each other. We love to push each other. We love to see each other win. And that's something that as women, a lot of times we don't do. So this is awesome to see that we're all like, no matter how small we may think the endeavor is, we're like, you got this, you can do it. Don't stop your dreams. Don't stop what you're doing. Just keep going. So being a part of this organization, the wonderful Flutterflies, and being a part of these wonderful women, it's just been, I don't know, say speechless, awestruck, all those wonderful things. So just saying, it's just wonderful to be a part of a collective in this way.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you for sharing that. So now, Alexandra will share with us. Alexandra, how did you, could you please share how did you get in contact with Anna, Eugenia, and Ilvia to be part of this amazing project that is your book, My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly?
Absolutely. So first, I definitely had to put a list together, like who can definitely empower. So in order for someone to empower someone else, I have to feel that they're already doing that. They're already empowering a community. They're inspiring others. They're leaders in our community. But something that, at least what I learned in the first book, sometimes we don't realize what the other person is going through. So if I look at these ladies, Anna, Eugenia, Elvia, I'm like, wow, they're really, they got it together, right? They're leaders. They do things in the community. They do so much. But the same way people may look at me like that, be like, oh, she has a great organization, and she empowers, so she must be empowered. We don't realize, or we forget that in order to get here, we had a process, right? We had to take a journey. And for many of us, that journey wasn't always sunshine. There was a lot of thunder and rain during in our journey, a lot of tears. And that's what we want to share. We want to pick a time in our lives where the sun wasn't as bright as we would have liked, and share that part of our lives to empower others, because maybe the person picking up our book is going through something the same or something similar, and looking at us, looking at Elvia or any of the other co-authors, they're like, wow, look at her. She's empowered. She's doing things in our community. So if she can do it, why can't I? If Alex can do it, why can't I? And the same thing goes with Anna and Eugenia. So definitely to be part of this book, I had to see ladies that definitely had a grip on life, and had the courage, right, to share maybe something traumatic, something that they've kept in a corner or hidden in a closet for so many years, and they're now sharing with the world. And I'm so proud of them and honored not only to call them co-authors, but definitely to call them friends.
Fascinating, Alexandra. Thank you for sharing that. And what about you, Anna? How do you feel when Alexandra called you, contacted you to be part of this book?
Kelly, I have to say, I thought she was crazy. I did not know what Alex, and I have to be honest, right? I'm like, what do I have to share? Like Alex would just said, she was looking for a certain type or a certain woman. And a lot of the work that we all do, including Alex, is from the heart, like I said before. So you don't feel, oh, yes, I'm a leader, or somebody else is looking at me in that way because you're doing the work you do. Because number one, you like it. Number two, because you believe in what you do and you know it's going to create impact. But I didn't have a story to share. At least I didn't think so. But obviously, someone else was looking, and thought and felt that way. And it's interesting because as this week we're doing training for the agency that I work with. And yesterday we had a fantastic keynote speaker whose actual message was, it's not who you know, as we always think, it's who knows you, meaning the connections that we make, and how impactful that could be, because that's the person that is going to reach out to you because they know you, because they feel that there is something there, and they will be able to work with you, moving forward. So yes, Alex, when she reached out, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to think about that. But I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And I have to be honest, I have many stories started, and I'm like, oh no, not that one. That doesn't make sense. Or here, but you know what? It comes to the point that you begin to analyze yourself and to really bring self-awareness to your own self and knowing what you're able to or what you're even able to share or that you're willing to share, just to make sure that you are creating that impact. So I'm happy, I'm grateful now, that journey, was started, and Alex had her trust in me, I'm going to say, because to me you have to really feel that trust and know where you're putting your the trust. I think it's all about trust at this point in order to be able to move forward such a beautiful project. So yes, thank you, Alex.
That's incredible, Anna. This is incredible also to thank you to you being part of this interview also for sharing that to all the audience. Thank you so much. So what about, let's continue with Elvia. What motivated you involvement on this in this book for My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly?
Alexandra.
Oh,
Alexandra is such a big motivation. She's such a big inspiration. I can't say enough good things about her. She's genuinely a beautiful soul. And for me to be able to see that, her intentions are pure, her intentions are that, hey, if I can do this, you can do this. And with her being able to open her arms and say, hey, let's embark on this journey together, I think you would be a great fit. You have an amazing story to share, an amazing story that other people can relate to. And when I thought about it, I was able to see that there were a lot of people that could be inspired by hearing my journey, my story. And that's what really motivated me, was to be able to share something that I've been through, that I know other women have gone through, that I know other women are going through right now, and that will continue to go through in the future. And if my story can somehow make a positive impact, can somehow be a sigh of relief for these women, for them to know, hey, it will be okay. Because that's one of the messages that I want to be able to give while I share my story, is that regardless of the chaos that you may feel, it will be okay. And so being able to share that, that was a huge motivation for me.
wow, Elvia, that's really amazing, and that Alexander inspires and motivates all of you to be part of this. Thank you for sharing that, Elvia. So let's continue with Eugenia. Eugenia, please share with us, when Alexandra contacts you, what was your answer? You said yes immediately, or maybe you have to think about it. Could you please share that with us?
I when she reached out to me, I didn't really hesitate. I've been writing poetry like my whole life, and just for so long, just leaving my writing gifts in the backside. You know what happens? You get older, motherhood comes in, everything else comes in, and you're just like, well, I'm just keeping these things to myself. And when she reached out to me about doing a chapter in the book, I loved the idea of the first book. So I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity to put my money where my mouth is and actually get something out, finally. I mean, it was a dream of mine to be prayerfully published one day, but I just never knew when that was, the typical mom thing. So when she asked me to write a chapter, like the other lady said, it was like, what do you talk about? Because there's so many things in our life that we have overcame and overcome, that you're like, what do you want to share, into the world? Because this is going to be forever once it's in print. And God just had me to lead more on the situation, sharing about something very personal to me that I don't think I shared with anyone. So putting it out on paper was definitely a leap of faith. and to just say, you know what, like the other lady said, someone out there is probably going to read this and say, oh my God, I'm not the only one. I can do it. I can make it. There's a process. And even if the process is a slow process, it doesn't matter as long as you keep going. So even if you have to take a break in between, that's okay, as long as you just don't stop.
You're muted.
I'm muted.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm unmuted. Thank you,
Oh,
Eugenia, for sharing. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Eugenia, for sharing that. I'm really impressed by all of your strength to be part of this project that is so amazing. Thank you, Eugenia, for sharing that. So let's start discussing about your book. Could you please tell Alexander to all the audience what is the central message of this book, My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly?
Okay, so the message is really the first book we had a little bit more. I think we had 14 ladies in the first book, 9 ladies in the second book, and it's really about picking up a part of your journey, sharing a part of your journey to inspire others. Like I mentioned earlier, it's really about finding that confidence, that courage to share that part of your story that we know it will definitely inspire others to do more, to dream bigger. And it definitely wasn't something I think we can all agree it wasn't easy, but it's something that everyone can do. Because like I shared, it took me back to the place and time when I started writing. You can smell the perfumes, or the first book, I was at the beach. I could smell the beach, the salt water. It took me back, like my feelings when I was writing. It was like my heart was broken again. But then at the end, it works as therapy. So it worked as therapy where at the end of my chapter, I get to see like, wow, I went through that. And when I was back then, if I go back, 15, 20 years ago, I was like, I thought I was going to die. It was the end of the world. I was the only woman in the universe that had, was going through heartbreak, that was having a difficult time. They didn't have goals. And when I look back now, I was like, get tonta, like what was wrong with me? Now I look at it and I can laugh. Sometimes there's tears. But with my chapter is thanks to my journey. And I'm really thankful for my journey. There was times where I wish I can go back in time and erase things, or can I redo this part of my life? But then I realized one day that if I took certain individuals out of my journey, I would have to take my daughters out of my journey. My daughters wouldn't be here today. And that's something that I wouldn't be able to give up. So I would go through my same exact journey again. Hopefully the only thing I would ask is if I could learn the lessons a little bit earlier, but I'm grateful because at the end I did learn my lessons. There's lessons in our journey. And once we realize those lessons, we're able to grow and we're able to inspire others. So if you haven't gotten this book, My Journey from Caterpillar to Butterfly, definitely pick it up because there's a story that will inspire you.
Thank you, Alexandra. What incredible journey you have shared in your chapter and in all the book. Thank you for that. Anna, could you please tell us what is the name of your chapter?
You're gonna take me back now, Kelly, and I have to say the name of the chapter is La Máscara de Guardián, the Mask of the Guardian, and it was interesting because I went back to my childhood. Where do I want to start? Like, what do I really want to share? And again, I told you previously that I wrote a couple, of different ones. Oh no, not this one, and for me to choose from. But yes, I started with my childhood story only because that's what I felt more comfortable with. And I also wanted to bring a message as to look at it from the eyes of a child, you know, and what we experience, being in early childhood education today myself. I work with children. And when you talk about adverse childhood experiences and what causes trauma and whatnot, writing my story, which you wouldn't, you read it, you're like, oh my God, we all go through something like that. And we do. But then it's trauma that we may now start realizing and going back and putting it on paper. It makes you analyze yourself, but it brings self-awareness. Would I change anything from it? Just like Alex said, my answer is no, because that is part of the puzzle of what is my life today and why I do what I do in the communities we serve. It brings back tears, just like Alex, but they are also happy tears because you learn. These are tears that make you grow, where you now understand that the little child back then that went through this today understands on a level of being a mom and a grandmother now, that as parents, we only utilize the tools that we have. So at that point, my mom was doing the best she could. Me as a mom, I'm doing what the best I can with my children. And so with my children then. So I may have seen it that way. Maybe we addressed, or we address it as childhood trauma maybe today. But my point was for those who read it to understand what we actually see through the eyes of that child. But now what happens is we become part of that. So it's called La Máscara del Guardián because now I protect others because of the feelings that you yourself had at that time. To make sure that maybe if I can make it a little easier for others, then that's what the chapter is about. We don't want you to feel bad for ourselves. We don't want you to feel like, oh my God, you're a victim. No, this is what God put me through, go through in order to help others. Then I take it as a gift and then I move forward that way.
Thank you, Anna. I'm deeply moved by all your experience and all your stories that you tell us in your chapter. Thank you for sharing that. Let's going to continue with Eugenia. Eugenia, what about you? What it's about your chapter? Could you please share that with us?
Did you talk to me? Because it went squeaky for me. Okay. Did
Don't
you
worry.
repeat that? Because I couldn't
Yes,
hear you.
of course, Eugenia. Could you please share with us what is your chapter and what it's about?
Okay. The name of my chapter is called Why I Didn't Die. And like I said, it was really putting myself out there, sharing what I wanted to share. But like Miss Anna said, it was something I know some other women would see themselves in and know that they're going to make it through as well. I shared also from pieces of my childhood or pieces of my life where I was dealing with the situations and thinking of the worthlessness of my life or the worthlessness of myself, and just showing in the chapter, you will read that I just always had this mask on, a performance where everyone just thought I was this happy, engaging, young woman and just so friendly and everything else. And they had no idea that, I would go home and just, pray that, I wouldn't wake up the next day. So I just shared some pockets of times in my life where these thoughts were coming and I was wearing the mask so well, no one never knew. So just sharing that because we have a lot going on, even especially with COVID. I shared a little bit about that, me surviving COVID. And I was I was technically dying, did not know, and how that gave me the kickstart to think of my life as I was um, basically taking it for granted and not putting me in my narrative at all. And I just shared that in the story and just hoping someone who read that could think of their self in a way of, we wear all these wonderful hats. We're moms, we're wives, we're grandmas, we're sisters, we're all these things. And we a lot of times take ourselves out the narrative. we forget about us. So I wanted to keep zone in on those things in my chapter. So that's why I titled it "Why I Didn't Die," because at the very end, like Alexandra said, it shares how God had opened my eyes to, you know, you are worth everything and more. And even though I didn't see it at the time, God has a plan and how He wants that plan to be fulfilled. And the first thing of it is to know that we are worth it, we are special, and we are here. We make space in the world because He wanted us to. So that's a little snippet of my chapter.
Thank you, Jeannie. And that's true, right? God has a plan for us, and He knows that exactly time they do everything, right? So thank you, Jeannie, for sharing that. So before to continue with Elvia, we're going to read all the comments from our audience. Okay, let's go to start with Eduardo. He said, an incredible book full of emotion and stories that is the authors give us. Congratulations on your excellent book launch. Thank you, Eduardo. We have also Rosy Nieto. Thanks. Hector Fajardo. Thank you, beautiful ladies, for sharing so wonderful stories that get to the heart. Thank you. Kiara Inspiring. We have also the comment of Blanca Garcia. Amazing ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for being part also of this interview to all our audience. So let's continue, of course, with a chapter of Elvia. Elvia, please go ahead.
So my chapter's title is Becoming Us. And like Alexandra says, when you start to prepare yourself to write and you're searching within yourself, it takes you back to that place in time. And I get very emotional, very worked up because it was such a personal time. It was such a process. At the time, I felt like, I was the only one in the world going through this. And I was the only mother that had a child with a disability, right? So I was feeling like I had a post-birth diagnosis, so I wasn't emotionally prepared when I found out that my daughter had Down syndrome. So that was all new to me, and I had to process those feelings. And going back to write this book, I dug into those feelings, and it just brought up a lot of emotions and a lot of heartache and a lot of what I call the grieving process, because it feels like I was grieving the perfect child that I thought I was going to have, that all mothers expect. So now I was grieving and I was in denial. And I was angry at God. Like, I had the audacity to be angry at God, right? I tried bargaining with God, like if He could somehow cure my baby of what I thought was like the end of the world. And there was days that I felt completely alone, completely depressed. I had a lack of resources at the time because what the information that was put out there, the stories that were put out there, the medical terms were just so harsh, and they didn't provide any hope. So it was very difficult to navigate, and it was very hard to accept. So digging into those feelings again were very, very difficult. But as the time went by and I got to see my daughter meet her milestones at her own pace, of course, and I began to realize she's her own person, she's her own individual being. So everything's going to be at her timing, whether she was a typical child or not. And I had to treat her as if she was just like any of my other children, which I did. And I started to see her amazing progress and her determination to want to do everything. And she would try her absolutely best to accomplish things that I would say was difficult, for any child, but I would see her desire to always want to do things. And that still to this day, she surprises me with so many things and she's accomplished so much. Um, and she's such an inspiration to me. She makes me want to be a better person overall. And I want to do things so this world can be a better world because of her. And so it's changed me. And I share those stories. And like Anna said, don't feel sad for us because, we've gone through something. I'm the luckiest mother in the world. I mean, that's how I feel now, looking in hindsight, God has given me an amazing daughter. I couldn't have asked for a better child. And God has given me a life partner, someone a companion, a best friend. So don't be sad for us. This is a part of what we went through. And I called it Becoming Us because till this day, anywhere that I go, people barely even say hi to me. They're like, "Where's your daughter?" She's one of us. She's a little flutterfly as well. So everywhere and anyone that she's been at, she's always lights up the room, and she's just an amazing person. And I'm just thankful to God that I have such a wonderful, wonderful child and my daughter. And I thank the community as well for being so loving and accepting towards her, because it does take a village, and this is my village. This is my community, and we're very thankful. And that's part of my story.
Thank you, Elvia, for sharing that. I'm sure your words have left a profound impact on all readers. Thank you for share also your story. So to continue with this interview with this amazing woman, please remember all people that we are now in the La Primera Feria Internacional del Libro. Thank you to all of you for being part of this. So to finish with this amazing interview, Alexandra, could you please tell us what advice would you give to all women, or in fact all people who are going through in a difficult situation?
Just remember that you're never alone. Even in part of my journey, I thought I was alone. I thought God had given up on me. He left me. He forgot about me. But no, it wasn't that. God has a plan for us, as many of the co-authors has mentioned. He has a plan for us. So you're not alone. And if you feel alone, you can always reach out to me or to any of the Flutterflies community, any of the authors. We're always open to assisting, to give you that ear that you may need, someone just to listen to you, so you can vent or share your thoughts. So don't ever feel that you're alone. Don't ever give up on your dreams. If it's easy, we've all heard that saying, if it's easy, then everyone can do it, right? But God has a special plan for you. So don't give up on your dreams. You're going to have those good days. You're going to have those bad days. We all have good and bad days, good and bad experiences. And at the end, be grateful. So for those that may be suffering from a heartbreak, like I was a few years ago, or quite a few years ago, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Be grateful that you were able to love. Be grateful if because of that relationship you have children. For those that have lost a best friend, I share that in my book too. I lost my best friend of 30 plus years. It's been hard to accept, but I'm grateful because I have the best friend that I can finish his sentence. So I'm grateful for those memories, for those laughs that he left behind. And if you failed in, let's say, a business, if you failed in school, just go back and look at what the lessons are and take in those lessons. Get your act together, work hard, and dream bigger. That's my message to everyone. And don't forget to pick up the book.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Alexandra. So please, Anna, invite to all the audience to buy your book and also to read. Go ahead, please.
Definitely, I agree. Pick up the book, both of them, chapter one and two, only because I myself, I sit here and I read through the stories of these wonderful ladies. And like Alex said in the beginning, you see them totally put together, ready to just go out to the world and give more of what they are already giving. But when you pick up the book and you open it and you read through these stories, if you respected these women's then, guess what? Once you pick up this book, the respect is totally theirs, you know. And I know I mentioned being having your life being a puzzle and each and every piece of it working towards the better um, person you are or will be. And what I'm seeing with this book is that Elvia being a puzzle of what my life is today. Alexandra being the puzzle of what connected all of us together. Eugenia coming in with her talents and her experiences. So when you read, you're not only just reading a story, you're really taking somebody else's life in your hands and sharing those moments with them that make you stronger. You know, we're not feeling sorry for them at all. We're like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. You know, you survived this, you went through all of this. But meantime, here you are giving yourself again to the world and everyone and anyone who needs you, because all these ladies do that. So I have to say thank you to all of them, obviously. But yes, pick up volume one and two if you definitely wanted. You go on a vacation. Vacations are coming up. Just take the book with you. Why not? You would definitely not regret it. You will enjoy it. And hopefully it'll actually make you get inspired and reach out and actually want to share your own story.
Thank you, Anna. Let's continue with Eugenia. Eugenia, please invite all the audience.
I say that these books are necessary for your library. And the reason I state that is because these all of the authors are from different walks of life, different ethnicities, different cultures, different ages, different backgrounds, the experiences that we are sharing in the books, all types of areas in your life is written in these books. Like Anna said, even if you think you're having a bad day and you pick up that book and start reading, you're like, okay, my day's not so bad anymore. Because you're thinking, like, listen, if they can do it, I can do it. So this book is a necessity, especially if you're any age as a young lady, and even if you want to share it with your your husband, your sons, your brothers, and they can be empowered as well at just seeing the strength in us as women. You know, a lot of times we don't want to be strong because we've got that cape on all the time, but when you're able to put the cape down and just to share your vulnerability, there is lessons also for yourself to learn to take you to that next level. That this was not a place of, like everyone's saying, feeling sorry for yourself. These are places of, look what I did. Just look at me and look at me with a smile. You can think, look at what I did. That God give me this great thing to give and to share with the world so that, like Elvia said, to make it a better place. And that's what these books are about, volume one and two. And volume one was the reason why I wanted to be in volume two. You know what I'm saying? So listen, you may find yourself as an author for the next one. So come on, support, get these two wonderful books. Like Anna said, take them on vacation, give them as a gift, and just find yourself in these stories. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Eugenia. Elvia, please invite the people to get your book.
So I would love to invite all of the people out there to go ahead and get their copy of our book because it tells the stories, our real life stories that we have gone through, how they have impacted our lives, how they've shaped who we are today. how we've overcome so many different obstacles and how we're able to just share that with our readers. And we've been able to be so transparent to say, this is what we've gone through. This is, what this is the real deal, So, like Eugenia said, if you think you had it bad, or if you think that you're alone, you're the only one going through a struggle or heartbreak or whatever your situation may be inspired. You trust me, you will be inspired, you will be motivated, and it's life changing. I've read the stories of my other co-authors, and I have been impacted so much, and I have so much respect for these ladies that you wouldn't believe. So please pick up your copy, share it with a friend, give it as a gift, and you will definitely be impacting someone's life.
Thank you, Elvia. And before to finish, could you please share with us and share with all the audience your contact information, such social media? Alexandra, go ahead.
Hi. So again, before we say goodbye, make sure you get the volume 1 and volume 2 on Amazon or Amazon on Kindle. And if you need to reach out, please, my phone number is 631-877-7915. And I'm on Facebook as Alexandra Velez, on Instagram as well, and as Flutterflies Movement on all the social media platforms. And thank you again, Kelly, for this great interview. Thank you, Revive. And thank you to these beautiful co-authors for joining me this evening.
Thank you, Alexandra. It is a pleasure to us talk with you, talk with this amazing woman. Thank you again. Let's continue. I'm sorry, with Anna. Anna, go ahead with your social media.
Well, I can always tell you, you contact Flutterflies and you could contact any of us. And that's the way I look at it, through Alexandra. But on social media, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as Ana Figueroa, and you can reach anytime. And I'm there. I'm here.
Also, thank you. Eugenia, your social media, please.
Yes, I'm on Facebook as Gina Lynn, GENIALIN. And also just reach out to Alexandra. Like Anna said, she gets us all our information. She is like the top lady for everything. She's multi-thousand hat woman. So
Thank you, Eugenia. Thank you so much. Elvia, please go ahead with your contact information.
Uh, so please, yes, as I like to call her, contact the Queen Butterfly, Ms. Alexandra Velez at Flutterflies, because you contact her, you have all of us. My Facebook is Elvia Salinas Cajaolu. I'm on Facebook, and I am also on Instagram. And I also have a page that I like to share the stories of my daughter and I, and it's Janissa's World. It's JANISSASWORLD. And that's on Instagram. And that's where I share the inspirational stories and journeys that my daughter and I have.
Thank you, Elvia. And thank you again to all of you for being part of this interview. I really admire each one for all your power and also your resilience. So, of course, thank you for sharing that incredible stories and the insights with us today. I really appreciate your time for being with us tonight. I'm so sorry. So I send you a big virtual hug. Thank you so much again and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. So, amigos, recuerden, volvemos al español, claro que sí. No se olviden, por favor, conectarse el día de hoy a nuestro taller con el profesor Iglis, por supuesto. Con él tenemos un taller Hablar en Público para Autores, hoy 22 de febrero a las 9 de la noche, hora Nueva York. En breve ya lo vamos a tener y lo van a poder visualizar, por supuesto, a través de todas las plataformas digitales de Editorial Revive. Por supuesto, también tenemos con ustedes mañana una entrevista muy especial con los autores de Retos en Pandemia. Mañana, 23 de febrero, 7 de la noche, hora Nueva York. Continuando, también tenemos el día de mañana, 23 de febrero, la entrevista con Encontrando tu Balance de Gabriela Pérez, 8 de la noche, hora Nueva York. También informarles, amigos, que tenemos el lanzamiento online de nuestra querida Arcelia Ortiz Chávez. El lanzamiento online del libro, por supuesto, se llevará a cabo el día 7 de marzo, 8 de la noche, hora Nueva York. Y el lanzamiento presencial el 9 de marzo. Recuerden, para adquirir sus entradas y toda la información pueden ir directamente a www.arceliachavarria.com. También contamos con el gran lanzamiento online del libro Visión de un Emprendedor por Carlos Rodríguez, el día 22 de marzo, 8 de la noche, hora Nueva York. Amigos, y una gran noticia para ustedes. Tenemos el nuevo libro de la editorial Revive, Identidad de Coach, por supuesto. Tenemos ya este libro futuro bestseller en coautoría con Blanca García Díaz y, por supuesto, Revive Coaching School. Recuerden, amigos, que ya tenemos a nuestros queridos coautores que vienen siendo parte de este gran libro Identidad de Coach, y también puedes tú ser parte de ello, así que contáctanos para ver si podemos añadirte, por favor, a este nuevo lanzamiento. Así que acá en pantalla van a ir viendo todos los coautores que se están uniendo a este próximo bestseller. Y por supuesto tenemos el cuarto Congreso Internacional de la Mujer 2024. Transfórmate en la mujer de tus sueños.
Hola amigos, les saluda Víctor Cámara. Quiero invitarlos para este 30 de marzo a partir de las 8 de la mañana hasta las 2 de la tarde en el Hotel Holiday Inn de Long Island, Nueva York, donde se llevará a cabo el cuarto Congreso Internacional de la Mujer con un tema simpaticísimo: conviértete en la mujer de tus sueños. Yo seré su anfitrión. Habrán testimonios impactantes de mujeres de éxito, show musical, un toque holístico con meditación guiada y muchas sorpresas más que nos tiene guardada Blanca García y Andrés Cárdenas, creadores de Revive y de este evento. Recuerden, el cuarto Congreso Internacional de la Mujer, con su tema Conviértete en la mujer de tus sueños. 30 de marzo, Hotel Holiday Inn. Los esperamos.
Claro que sí. Por supuesto, toda la información lo pueden registrar, y el registro lo pueden hacer a través de Revive Coaching School /mujer. Así que eso ha sido todo por la entrevista el día de hoy. Muchísimas gracias por conectarse a la primera Feria Internacional Revive 2024.